Hi, I'm Greta, and this is the Greta Jane YouTube channel. Today I am super excited because we're going to be talking about MCA, or Menstrual Cycle Awareness. And this is a hugely integral part to coming to know yourself better and coming to know your menstrual cycle better and just how all that connects. And it has been a practice that is just so important and valuable to me, and I'm so excited to be teaching you about it today. So let's get into it. MCA stands for Menstrual Cycle Awareness. It's a practice of journaling or documenting each day of your menstrual cycle so that you can become aware of your unique patterns and rhythms. You're both gathering useful data on yourself and you're documenting the story of you. Truly and honestly, I would go as far as saying that MCA is the first step in declaring to yourself that your story means something. Committing to the practice of MCA is you saying to yourself that you're worth taking note of. So at this point, I hope you're dying to know how to do this. This is how you do MCA. Number one, you're going to need a notebook or a journal. I personally love to make a little investment into my MCA journals. It just helps them to feel extra special, and I just pick the ones out that kind of speak to me, like the designs or the patterns or the art that is on the journals. I just really like to kind of feel it out and pick ones that they just speak to me, like they just feel special. MCA journals are they're literally just normal journals. I just get a lined journal. It's not like you're buying a MCA journal, you make it an MCA journal, but it's just a journal. It's just a plain journal, preferably lined. I find that easier to write in, but it's just a journal. It's not designed specifically for MCA. It's just a regular journal. The most important thing is that you just have something to write in, and you can literally do it with anything. You can make it special and pretty. You can get a regular journal. You could decorate a journal, whatever you want. If you make it a little special, I think it just reminds you that it's a special thing that you're doing, that you're documenting, that you're journaling. Okay? Okay. Good. Next up is number two, and it is what is on the inside that counts, and it is time to fill up your MCA journal. And this is just a quick reminder that your menstrual cycle is not just the days that you have your period. It's the entire 28 days that your body is preparing for a potential pregnancy. That's what's physiologically going on in there. It's not just the days you have your period. So therefore, with MCA, you're documenting every day. Not just when you have your period. Your period is just a part of the menstrual cycle. And that is why your menstrual cycle is so important, because literally every day you are existing in a different part of it. So it's super integral to your entire existence. But anyway, let's keep going. Alrighty. MCA daily practice. I'm so excited about this because I never get the chance to just geek out over MCA, and it's just it's my bread and butter. It's the bread and butter of the menstrual cycle, and it's just amazing. So this is how you do it. You cracked open your MCA journal. It is fresh, it is empty, it's time to fill it up. So on that first line, on the top page, you are going to write the day of your cycle that you're on, and then the date. If you're not sure what day you are on in your cycle, you can just wait until you get your next period, because the first day of your period, so that first day you start bleeding, is the first day of the cycle. Every cycle restarts to day one on that day that you get your period again. So if you're unsure and you just are I literally have no idea what day of my cycle I'm on, just wait it out and start when you get your period. Day one is the first day of your period. Once you start keeping track, obviously you'll always know what day you're on, which is why it's so important and valuable to be tracking, because you can, you know where you're at in your cycle, which will mean a lot, and it'll mean a lot to you soon. So stay with me here. So at this point, at the top of the page, you've written down the day you're on in your menstrual cycle and the date. And now it's time to really fill it in. To figure out how you'd like to make your daily MCA entries, let's look at some examples. The first way to do MCA is super basic and straight to the point, and it can be a really great place to start. Let's say I'm on my day 10. So keep in mind that'd be a couple days after my period. If my period's 5 or 7 days long. I'm getting out of menstruation now. I don't have my period anymore. Okay, so that would be kind of like the context here. And here is an example of what my day 10 entry might be in this simpler format. Day 10, October 3rd, 2023. Optimistic mood, steady energy. I felt more outgoing today. I was able to spend lots of time on work and things flowed naturally. I did a workout and my sleep was better last night. I felt more centered and less anxious today. You can see here that this is a super basic way to document yourself. It documents important things like mood, energy levels, demeanor, sleep, and anxiety levels. This is a great way to get in the habit of MCA journaling because this style can be done in 5 to 10 minutes. Number 2 is the style of MCA that I personally like to do. This style is more conversational and it's more similar to like a diary entry. So again, labeling the top, day 10, October 3rd, 2023. I slept quite well last night and I moved through my morning with ease. I spent hours and hours working and it flowed naturally. My creative mind felt awake and I felt more optimistic about my goals. I took a long walk and I even did a workout afterwards. It was actually enjoyable and it did not feel forced. I was naturally more conversational today and I enjoyed being around people. With this entry, you can see that it documents the same things as the first example, but in more of a conversational way. This is kind of an advanced point I'm making here with MCA, but I just want to mention that this way of doing MCA, this conversational way, really helps you to develop your inner voice and kind of like learn what it is your inner voice sounds like. And that can be really powerful. So I would definitely start with the basic way of doing MCA just to get in the habit of it, but try to get a little conversational, like try to put your personality into it. Like, what did you really feel throughout the day? Like, make it silly, make it goofy, make it angsty, make it whatever. You know what I mean? Like, bring your personality into it. This example, even like, I bring way more personality to my own like MCA journaling entries, but this is just like a little bit of an example of like how you can make it a little bit more like dialogue. So just consider that kind of an advanced point. Disregard it for now if you need to, but just a little point to make there. Ultimately, it is totally up to you how you want to do it. And honestly, like just do it in the way where you're gonna be most likely to commit to doing it every day. And some days you'll find that you'll have entries that will just go on for pages, and then some days you'll have entries that are like a couple sentences long. And this unto itself tells you something about yourself and your cycle. So just let it kind of like take form and just go with what you naturally feel. There are lots of things you may consider documenting in your MCA journal, and I'm just gonna put a slide on the screen so that you guys can screenshot it. And while you're doing your MCA, you can just kind of refer to it and see if anything specifically resonates with you. So here's some examples. We've got mood. Maybe you're happy, sad, angry, optimistic, pessimistic, up and down, energy levels, high, moderate, low, energy crashes, physical sensations, so aches and pains, headaches, cramps, nausea, dizziness, just anything. Bowel movements, if you pooped and the number of times. I know this is silly, but it is so important to your health. And it changes throughout your menstrual cycle and you will come to see that. So it's really worth taking note of that. Health conditions. So if you have any health conditions, a lot of the times our hormones will make those symptoms fluctuate. So it's super helpful to document any flares you have in your health conditions, or any times when you feel like your symptoms have simmered down and they're easing down. It's really important to take note of that. Acne is a really great thing to document. I have dealt with acne for years. It's so up and down, but it is very helpful to be documenting it in my MCA, and it just helps me kind of keep track. So if acne is something you deal with, take note if your acne is broken out, if it's status quo, if it's healing. And it's also helpful, and this is kind of advanced, but you know, if you changed your skincare or if you're taking a new supplement for your acne or for any like health condition, like take note of the day you started that, because it can be helpful to kind of track the progress of that or the impact it's having on you. It's helpful to keep that documentation on yourself, so you know, like, oh, this has really been working for me, or like, oh, like all of a sudden I've been feeling like I've documented nausea for the past several days. Maybe it's because of the zinc in my supplement, or like, you know what I mean? So with that too, medications or supplements you're taking, like I just said, it's very helpful to keep track of those medications and supplements, because those things do affect us. They affect how we feel, and it's important that we stay aware of their effect so that we know if they're helping us or not, or if we need to change things up, stuff like that. So take note of that. Hunger levels, cravings. I mean, this is so like stereotypical, like cravings and whatnot in relationship to the menstrual cycle and like your period and whatnot. But it is very true that your body needs certain things at different times, and that you'll probably be craving certain things at certain times, or your appetite, your level of hunger definitely goes up and down through your cycle. So take note of that and see what patterns you have in you. I like to take note of what I did that day, so like a general overview of my day. Mental state is very important if you have like a loud mind or a busy mind. Anxiety levels are really good to track in your MCA, because our hormones very much so influence anxiety. Any baseline anxiety or depression or any mental health condition that you have is totally impacted by our cycle, and it's really important to track that, so we just kind of can be prepared and come to know our rhythm so that we can care for ourselves the best that we can. So definitely consider documenting that. With that, documenting the days that you feel more clarity or more quiet or more like zen in your body. Very important to document all those different states that we just naturally move in and out of. Exercise is a great thing to document, how motivated you felt to do exercise, the types of exercise you did. It's also helpful to document the things that helped you through the day. So what are things that made your day better or shifted you from one state to the next? Those things that kind of like uplifted you or just improved your day or improved a state that you kind of felt stuck in. Things like taking a nap or talking to a friend or spending time in nature or being around your pet, being creative, letting yourself be silly, letting yourself be alone, being outside, having a treat, cooking, literally just like anything. Those are just examples, but literally anything that lifted you up. I think it's helpful because eventually we can go back through our journals, and it's helpful to just see what helped us in the past, because then we can see what might help us in the present moment too. And that is a very special feeling when it's like your past self is helping your present self. It's just lovely. So definitely take note of those things. You can also document the weather outside. If it's sunny or rainy, as many of us know, that can totally impact our mood. And it's helpful to just take note of that also. You can also document your dreams, or just like if any particular part of your dream is very significant to you. Women can be very connected to the spiritual side of us, like just like we're a little special, okay? And so you might have dreams or little like signs. Maybe they're dreams, or maybe they're things in your life that just felt like synchronistic or special. Just take note of them. And with that, like themes or lessons that you are currently experiencing in your life, it's just helpful. Like I think it's really helpful too to remember, like when you're writing this out, they're daily entries, but you're also kind of writing and documenting. Not even kind of. You're also writing and documenting the story of you. And it's really special to document those themes that you're feeling in the moment and the things you're learning or working through, or document your prayers and wishes and things that you want to call in and things you need. That's a great thing to add in too. So those are just examples. Don't get overwhelmed by feeling like you have to document all of these things. Like I said, every day is going to be different. These are just examples to kind of get you thinking of what it is you might be wanting to document, but don't get overwhelmed by it. Like you can make it as basic as you need to, for sure. All right, so this is probably pretty obvious at this point, but since your MCA is a documentation of your day, you're always going to be doing your MCA at the end of the day. Integrate it into your nighttime routine. Specific timing is something you'll choose for yourself, of course, but it really does have to be at the end of the day, because that's what you're documenting, is like you through the day. So it's not like you could do it in the morning. Sorry about it. Now let's talk about documenting your period days. in your MCA journal. It's time to get out the red marker and do some MCA journaling on your period. So this is how you do it. It's basically the same, but just like a little different, okay? On the first day of your period, mark in your MCA journal, new cycle. And right next to where you write out the day of your cycle that you're on and the date, you're gonna just make a red dot. And this is to signify that these are your days of bleeding. Now, on your period, you're gonna wanna take note of some extra things, like the heaviness of your flow, so if it's light or moderate or heavy, any period symptoms you're experiencing, like fatigue or headache or cramps, irritability, etc. Things that helped your period symptoms, like a heating pad or a hot bath or warm, nourishing foods or specific teas, or if you had to take like ibuprofen or like pain medication, take note of those things. And then of course, just any other observations that you want to take note of. You might not feel inclined to do MCA on your period, or you might find that you are actually even more inclined than normal, because we can be very reflective in this stage of our cycle. So again, if you need to make it really short, just document a couple things and yeah, consider taking note of these things. Something special that you can do in your MCA journal around this time of when you have your period, or like right when your period is finishing up, is setting a cycle intention. This is an intention that you set for yourself, and you kind of almost set it as like a theme or something you wanna call in or just remember through this new cycle that you're moving through. Cycle intentions are sort of like goals or something that you want to embody, or just something you want to remind yourself of as you go through the cycle. Here are some examples of cycle intentions. I am capable and competent. I know my worth. Own who you are. Move outside of the worry cycle. Fortify my small world within the big world. Engross yourself in life. Create laughter and trust yourself. Get clear on what you need. In simple steps, begin making golden and warm change. Best friends forever. Make life fun. Shine a little brighter. Push yourself with love. Stop running away from who you are. You are allowed to feel happy and calm wherever you go and wherever you are. Get the work done. Anything can be your cycle intention. Make it positive and affirming. See if anything specific comes up for you and try setting it as your cycle intention. It's sort of like someone who just loves you so much telling you something to like hold in your heart. Here are some quick little side tips before we finish for today. Keep your MCA journal in a place where you're going to see it and you're going to remember to write in it every night. Writing in your MCA journal every day makes it the most effective, but if you forget here and there, you can easily get back on track. You can also set an alarm for yourself to remind you to do it every night. Those are just some ideas, but it's definitely worth it. So try to commit to it. It's just so powerful. So let's just finish our time together off by talking about what is so great about MCA. This is a really special part of MCA. So once you have multiple cycles documented, you can start to go back through and you can begin picking up on different patterns in yourself. And this is so valuable because it can provide you with comfort, self-awareness, and self-knowing. So here's a little example of this. Let's say I'm on day 25 of my cycle and I'm feeling like my anxiety is extra bad and my energy is like really low. I go back through my MCA journal to other day 25s that I've already lived through, and I see that I've documented similar feelings. And with this comes comfort and an understanding for how certain times in the cycle can make me feel. It gives reason to your feelings, and it also helps you to come up with solutions. Another great thing about MCA is that you become in tune with yourself. You become in tune with your energy patterns, your mood patterns, your creative patterns. This allows you to adjust your daily plans given how you feel in certain times of your cycle. So, for example, if you know that you enjoy being social in days 10 through 20 of your cycle, but you know that you prefer to be quieter from days 21 to 28. If at all possible, you'd probably want to schedule a social event in your days 10 through 20 instead of your days 20 through 28. Or if you're someone who deals with anxiety and you find that your anxiety levels are lowest in days 10 through 20 and highest in days 21 through 28. If at all possible, you'd probably want to schedule things that add to your anxiety, like a doctor's appointment, for example, or travel, for those days when your baseline anxiety is lower, as opposed to the days when that baseline is just naturally higher. MCA is the bread and butter to understanding your menstrual cycle and understanding you. And those are just a couple of examples of how helpful and powerful MCA can be. I've tracked every day of my menstrual cycle for a couple years now, and I'm truly in awe by how much it is teaching me, and I sincerely hope that this video has inspired you to test out MCA for yourself. Before you head off, I hope that you'll subscribe so that the next time a video from me comes in, you'll be ready to learn a little bit more about you. Like this video to support growing the knowledge of the menstrual cycle, and comment down below because I would love to hear from you. Leave me any questions, thoughts, feelings, leave them down below. And from the growing light in me and to the growing light in you, thank you, and I'll see you next time.